I never thought I would be the guy who secretly checks his wife's phone. My world, the one I had built for 10 years with my wife Sarah, started to fracture right there in the blue light of that screen. And the worst part? I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that this was just the beginning of the end. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is, right? Now, it's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. We lived in a beautiful brownstone in Chicago, just off Lincoln Park. We had the friends, the dinner parties, the weekend trips, but the foundation was cracking. She started working late, client dinners that ran past midnight. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now permanently attached to her hand, screen down. When I'd ask about her day, her answers were vague, polished summaries that told me nothing. The easy laughter we once shared was replaced by a tense, polite silence. One evening I came home early, hoping to surprise her. I found a receipt from the Gilt Bar on North Franklin Street stuffed in the pocket of her coat. I knew for a fact her company's team-building events involved trust falls and cheap pizza, not intimate dinners. The cold dread that had been a whisper in the back of my mind began to scream. I started looking, really looking. Credit card statements showed lunches at fancy restaurants I had never heard of, a charge from a flower shop near her office that wasn't for me, and then the final nail, a hotel charge. The Langham, overlooking the Chicago River, a weekend staycation, booked under her name, for two. I confronted her, not with anger, but with a quiet, desperate plea for the truth. I sat her down in our living room, the city lights twinkling outside our window, and I laid the receipts on the coffee table between us. Her face, the face I had loved for a decade, transformed. The panic in her eyes was quickly replaced by a cold, hard defiance. She didn't deny it. She weaponized it. "So what if I did?" she said, her voice dripping with contempt. I didn't feel sadness. I felt a profound, hollow emptiness, and then something else ignited in its place. A cold, methodical rage. She had humiliated me, dismantled our life, and then tried to blame me for it. I went back to the apartment while she was out, probably with him. My mind, usually occupied with spreadsheets and market trends, was now a war room. The breakdown was over. The strategist was born. My revenge couldn't be a simple, angry outburst. It had to be a complete and total dismantling of the life she cherished more than me, her social standing, her career, her financial security. For the next 3 months, I became an actor. I apologized. I told her she was right, that I had been neglectful, and I wanted to work on our marriage. I suggested counseling. She agreed smugly, seeing it as my surrender. In those sessions, she would talk about my failures while I took notes, nodding sympathetically. All the while I was gathering my arsenal, I hired the best, most discreet private investigator in Chicago. He was an ex-cop with a knack for digital forensics. He recovered deleted texts, emails, photos. I also contacted a shark of a divorce lawyer, a woman known for leaving her opponents with nothing but their pride, and sometimes not even that. We worked in secret, building an ironclad case. I learned Mark was not just some visionary creative director. He was her boss. A married man with 2 kids, and a wife who was a prominent figure in Chicago's charity scene. This was perfect. The trap was set. Sarah's company was about to launch a massive new campaign she had been leading. Everyone who was anyone in her industry would be there. Her CEO, her colleagues, industry press, and, of course, Mark and his unsuspecting wife. 2 days before the gala, I made my move. I filed for divorce, citing adultery. The petition, which my lawyer made sure was brutally detailed, was served to Sarah at her office, in front of her entire team. The document included dates, times, hotel names, and excerpts from her own romantic texts to Mark. The humiliation was immediate and catastrophic. While she was reeling from that, a second package was delivered, this one by special courier, to the home of Mark's wife. It contained a neatly bound portfolio of evidence, photographs of Mark, and Sarah kissing in a parking garage on West Kinsey Street, hotel receipts, and a printed log of their late-night calls. The night of the gala arrived. Sarah, unbelievably, still went. She had to save face. I can only imagine the whispers, the stares. She walked in, trying to hold her head high, but the damage was done. Her CEO, having seen the divorce filing, pulled her aside. I learned later she was fired on the spot for violating the company's code of conduct and for the sheer PR disaster she had created. Then Mark's wife showed up, not in a gown, but in street clothes, her face a mask of cold fury. I watched it all unfold from a distance, not physically, but through the reports from my investigator and the flurry of texts from mutual acquaintances. Our assets were frozen. The court sided with me on almost every point, thanks to the mountain of evidence. She lost her job, her reputation, and the beautiful brownstone. She was forced to move into a tiny apartment in a less desirable neighborhood. The social circle that once adored her now shunned her completely. About a month later, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Mark standing on my doorstep. He looked smaller, deflated. His expensive suit was wrinkled. "Where is she?" he asked, his voice weak. "She's not answering my calls. Her friends won't tell me anything." I just looked at him, this man who had swaggered into my life and helped shatter it. I didn't feel anger anymore, just a vast, chilling emptiness. I stepped back, leaving the door open just enough for him to see into the empty hallway, where boxes were packed and ready to be moved. "She's gone," I said, my voice flat. "They're all gone. The end."